this guy called Eric the Bone Cruncher. He was famous in Australia, actually. And
what is a serial killer?
he used to have a rack that he'd stretch people out.
Eric Millet?
Yeah, Eric Millet.
Martin's brother?
I remember waiting in his waiting room, and I think his wife was dying of cancer at the time or something, and it had a sort of smell of medicines and things, but you just hear people in there, and you say, oh, you know, and all this, you know, you'd be waiting in the waiting room in the garage, and shit, what's going on in there? And he used to use a door stopper with a rubber mallet in between your vertebrae as well. So anyway, I got it, and then he'd have this stretching thing, this rack that he'd basically stretch you on. And he was famous for fixing people with things that nobody else could fix. But he was quite a character. He'd say a prayer over you before he started. And Eric.
Really? A prayer for the damned?
Yeah.
Last rites?
Yeah, that's it.
Really? You put people on a rack?
Yeah, he put people on a rack, yeah. And yeah, radical stuff. And he said to me, he said, you need to carry a hammer and a mallet too, as if to take on his
to fend him off?
Yeah.
So make sure your hammer's bigger than his, so you can fight him off. That sounds painful.
Yeah, I got a book about him actually.
Did it actually work?
Yeah, it did, because people would come back, like he had people coming from all over the world.
Yeah, you know there's some weird people in Byron.
Oh yeah, he was in the interesting.
Maybe that's who his customers were.
Yeah, absolutely. He moved to Tasmania and Sydney for a while before he died, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago. But yeah, he definitely pushed the boundaries of treatments. I haven't been brave enough to use a mallet and a door stopper on people's spines, but you know.
The chopstick's big enough.
The chopstick's big enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
You still feel the chopstick, don't you?
Yeah, if you do that thumb, by the way, that's had a blister on there that's popped.
Oh, whereabouts?
No, if you do this thumb.
Oh, that's one. Oh, okay, yeah.
So the skin there's a bit thin.
Okay, yeah, just remind me. McNally. Quite a guy.
Eric's the Vikings name.
It is,
So was this like a leg lengthening, how to make yourself taller clinic or something? Or?
Yeah, he was a chiropractor, and it would anybody, you know, that had these like different diseases that nobody else could fix and stuff, they'd go to see Eric, you know.
Yeah.
And he was one of those, yeah.
He'd knock them out and they'd be free of their pain for a little while.
Yeah, it was one of those days before regulation made everybody happy.
Well, it is good to knock out the spine. I've got a inversion boots, so I hang upside down off a... Actually, it's off my shovel that I've tied up with this rope with the shovel handle, you know.
Oh yeah.
Put these inversion boots on and hang upside down and elongate the spine. It's pretty helpful.
Yeah, it is.
Helps with a bit of, you know, blood flow and that too. Around compressed discs or whatever.
Well, because we're always standing, our spines can get very compressed.
Yeah, it's good just to let stuff flow in there and, you know, assist in healing of injuries.
Absolutely.
I've got, I think, some deterioration of various vertebrae.
You use your inversion thing table. Oh, there we go. Good click.
Yeah, well, it's not a table. It's actual boots, so I fully hang upside down, you know, off the ankles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I tie my shovel up with some bits of rope, and the boots have got hooks on the front, so you hang them over and then swing on down and hang by ankles.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's a bit more of a stretch. A table, you still have, I guess, you know, some weight on the table.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's just solely by your ankles. But yeah, if I'm looking taller, could be why. No racks or mallets involved.
Yeah, well, I've done a few treatments on people where I elongate the neck and I elongate the, do sort of pulling of the ankles and things like that, and they definitely look taller afterward. Yeah. Oh, this is tight in here. Feel that through there?
Yeah.
It's going to come back to here. I'm just going to hold that, let you breathe into that. That'd be at about a 9.6 or so.
Yeah, pretty well.
Yeah.
Be caused by all the page turning on my area.
Yeah. And I think it was tight last time I worked on it too, wasn't it? Yeah.
Very tight. A lot of problems with both thumbs, but in particular the right one,
Yeah.
right-handed.
Yeah.
I think by now we've, thought to take painkillers before we come here out.
That'd make it boring. It'd be boring. You know what I mean? Like part of the
entertaining for you, but
yeah.
yeah.
It just gives you that introverted time to kind of like look at your body and your pain and analyze your pain a little bit and just contemplate on the nature of
Material existence.
Material existence being a painful sort of thing, birth, disease, old age, death, lots of different types of pain. So otherwise you might just think life's just, this wonderful thing and forget to prepare yourself for old age and death.
Yeah. I've never experienced pain before.
Yeah.
I do kind of think of some of the ways I've actually seen people have to leave their life.
Yeah,
But what they would have experienced and, the amount of physical pain as well would be unimaginable.
Yeah.
This is really, you really push thresholds of pain with the end of the chopstick. It's not even piercing the skin.
Yeah, that's right.
Let alone, having like a 15 centimetre blade, stabbed in past your bodies multiple times and shit like that.
Yeah.
And being aware of it all.
Yeah, that's right.
And I've had some decent sort of cuts, gouges where you can just feel a lot of blood running out.
Have you been stabbed before?
By a surfboard fin, but
Okay.
not by a knife.
Yeah.
And just that feeling of blood coming out,
Yeah.
broken flesh flapping around, and the pain of the actual cut flesh and everything. I can't imagine how horrible it is the way some people have had to experience their deaths.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's not just humans. I mean, when you think about so many factory farms and killing of animals, and I've seen some horrendous stuff about that. And there's that whole idea that people get karma too from killing things unnecessarily or in a cruel manner and things, and it's just
committing unnecessary violence.
Yeah.
I was just actually reading about Lord Kapil's teachings in Srimad Bhagavatam. Instruction to not commit excess and unnecessary violence, because by nature in this world we have to commit violence, and you do commit violence against plants and vegetables being vegetarian. But, you know, there is points of, where it's necessary, because that's the world we've actually been born into, and the nature of the different bodies that we take, and this body needs to eat by necessity, but there's definitely levels of unnecessary violence that we see being caused to other living beings, and you know, that are caused to other living entities.
I still can't get that image out of my head about you describing that suicide you worked on with a guy, a woman blew her head off or whatever.
There's a man that did that.
Right.
In his workshop, especially in a confined area, you know.
Yeah.
It was actually really horrific.
Yeah, it sounds fucking hard. You just telling me about it, I keep thinking about it, fuck, you know.
It's trying to work in that environment, you know, and you know, the insides of his body was so thick on the floor. It's not just a spattering here or a bit of a stream of blood. It's like thick. Yeah.
Brain matter and stuff.
Yeah, brain matter and bits of jaw places, and you know, it was a complete eyeball up on a shelf.
Wow.
You know, stuck there.
Fucking
amongst it all, and it was looking down at the scene too. You know, so.
Yeah.
Not that it was attached to anyone's consciousness at that stage, but it just symbolic of the whole thing is his eye ripped out of the head and just looking at the scene of what's just occurred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that, do you know why he committed suicide?
No, I don't recall.
A lot of it's relationship breakups and
yeah, I'm not sure it was depression. Relationship, depression, you know, it's unsatisfied with his life and how it was and how it's turned out, and obviously not feeling that there's any positive direction in it.
Yeah, well.
Which is, it's very common in this day and age that people experience it, you know. Mm-hmm. We're taught, get these things and behave in this certain way, and, you know, and you'll actually be happy, but there's no denying there's certain, you know, we do experience some pleasures in this world, whether it's a pleasure in ice cream or relationships, all these things, but, you know, sensual pleasure doesn't equate to happiness. We're not taught the difference. And, it didn't satisfy them, or they don't have the money to get all these things which they're told are going to make them happy, or they get these things that they struggle to hold on, they lose them, and unhappy.
Yeah.
And ultimately everything we gain that we think is going to make us happy is gone, whether it's through theft or whether it's through our own disease and old age and our inability to be able to actually
Hi, sweetheart.
Our inability to be able to hang on to that stuff. Make it service.
Yeah.
Being taught.
Absolutely. Nice to see you.
A lot of happiness in the world.
Yeah. You were saying that one of your things on your thing is about pain and the pain you suffered from. You're not seeing your 6 boys for so long. I can imagine. I mean, I've experienced similar things, not quite as much, but that emotional pain. Lots of. I just saw in the news a couple of days ago. I mean, a lot of guys get crazy because they can't see their kids and stuff, you know.
Yeah. In Australia, averages 21 fathers every week in Southside Australia because the pain they're experiencing and not being able to see their children.
Yeah, and the unjustness of a lot of the courts. So they do call this the Great Eliminator. Both this point, you know, Chinese medicine is on the large intestine, meridian on here, it's on the lung. So my way of looking at it is it definitely helps people to deep breathe and start to let go, and can actually even help letting go of emotions and things as well. So I'll just get you to take a deep breath again. Whenever I'm working a point like this that's obviously tight, we want to find that spot just before it's going to make you tighten up, because there's no point in you tightening up, so it's just more we want you to breathe into the spot and let it go. So big breath. And that's probably about a 9.5, 9.8 for you, would it be?
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
Yeah. Then I can move it. Or I can move it like this.